One day, a couple of months after I arrived in San Francisco, I was driving across the Golden Gate Bridge, and I noticed this great set of clouds that might make a great background for a great shot. The day before this, for the first time since I moved here, I crossed without even noticing that I had traveled the span. It was just a commute, just a road. I was amazed that I could make something so large disappear. I was keen on getting a shot to help me remember. From my perch on the Marin headlands, I had a bird's eye view of the clouds, Alcatraz, Treasure Island, the city, and the spot on the bridge where I first pictured this snapshot of my new home. On my way down the hill, I stopped again to take it all in. I decided to take a short trail to another overview. Once there, I saw the most heavenly vision. A group of Buddhist monks were approaching the Golden Gate, their saffron robes mimicking the colors of the bridge. We were all bathed in a golden light. The light from the nearest star was about to disappear from the face of the earth in the next half an hour. I ran ahead, excited to see these saints positioning themselves before the glowing bridge in the best possible light. They, like so many tourists, gathered in a group while each individual with a camera broke rank to take a picture of the group. Like I'd done 100 times before, I asked if they would like me to take a picture with their cameras so that they could all be included in the pictures. They smiled and piled half a dozen phones and cameras at my feet. I framed and shot each one. Of course, I asked if I could take a picture with my own camera. They all bowed politely. I did. As they gathered their cameras, I asked if any of them had an email so I could send them some of the pictures I had taken. 2 of the monks answered yes to my question. One gave me his card. I returned the favor. I pulled out a dozen of my own cards and asked him to pick one. Each of the cards had a different image. The whole group gathered around. Some looked, made a pick, and handed it back to me until I made it clear that they could keep it. I remember one of the monks choosing a lotus-looking magnolia flower. Another accepted a rusted tin can that looked like a rose. The master kept several. When he picked the magpie, I told him that in Native American mythology, the bird was the fool god and the creator god. The fool because he didn't do things the way they'd always been done, and the creator god for exactly the same reason. We were all laughing. Each treated the colored pieces of paper as a gift. I could take a picture of him by himself. He smiled and sat down exactly where I asked. He needed no further instruction. I kneeled down on the ground and excitedly shot half a dozen images. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a bird fly by. By some instinct, I leaned back and shot the bird. It was a vulture. Tibetans call them angels because they take the dead to heaven. When I turned back, the master was smiling. I took one more shot of the way he was holding his hands and then gave him a hand to get up. Once we were standing face to face, he was still holding on to my hand, and he turned it over and asked for the other. Then he laced my fingers together and arranged them in a fashion that he called feeding the Buddha. Then he gestured for me to sit down. He took my camera and told me to close my eyes and just relax. He instructed, forget everything. Forget you are here. Calm yourself. There is no bridge in front of you. I am not here. I can't say how much time passed before I heard the shutter of my camera click. I opened my eyes and saw him looking at me through the lens. All the monks had already gone or disappeared. He handed me back my camera. I held out my hand this time to have him help me get into the air.